Why, hello, and welcome back. For those of you who have seen me before, which is almost nobody. And for those who have yet to arrive, welcome, and that's probably most of you. Yes, well, the only reason I switched this on is because I'm bored out of my mind. You can see here how I'm unshaven and revolting. I'm standing here in my pyjamas, and really, it's the height of the coronavirus, fresh from Wuhan, a wonderful import from the wet markets and the bat-eating manners that they have over there. And it occurred to me that, well, I'm not really overstacked and I'm not really overindulged, but because we're not allowed to get more than essential shopping, whatever essential is supposed to mean, we're not as draconian about regulating that as we are in some countries who are doing lockdown, but we can't go out for more than an hour or two, and we can't stand, we have to stand sort of 2 meters away. Which in itself is strange, because anyone who's listened at school even badly will know that if you cough or sneeze, the germs fly through the air far further than 2 meters, or 6 feet. Sorry, just drinking my tea out of a badly cleaned cup. So, I thought I'd switch on my camera and do a little bit of cooking, because I've got stuff in there that I haven't used, and which isn't going to go away in a hurry. And to be honest, I'm bored out of my skull, so I switched this on, not because I actually like you at all, because you've never seen me before, most of you. Merely to satisfy my own boredom. I have never tried, actually that's not true, I was going to say I've never tried cooking in front of a camera before. That isn't true. I've done it once before, and it all went strange because my oven didn't work, so I ended up having to grill a curry, which was... It wasn't as bad as I pretended it was toward the end, but still, it wasn't as I exactly planned. Nonetheless, well, I've actually got several recipes I want to try out over the next couple of days. So, got my tea, got a bit of stress chocolate here in case anything goes wrong. You know, these things are lovely. It's just Easter. It's just after Easter. These things are lovely, except... Have you any idea how terrifying they are, just staring at you in the fridge, when they just open the door and there they are? So, stand by, grab your coat, grab your kids, grab your cauliflower, and observe. Everything around me might get a little darker, because it may take me the whole day. In fact, by the time I'm done, we may not be in lockdown anymore. And little babies will be watching this saying, what on earth does he mean by lockdown? That's not my problem. It really isn't. So, using a combination of ingredients that I'm using from my grandmother's, or reading from my grandmother's ration-based recipe book, and a few ones online, and sort of hybridizing the two, with my laptop balanced rather precariously on the hob there. It's not switched on, don't worry. You shan't pick up the scent of melting plastic, metal. But using these things together, little bit of reading, little bit of following, little bit of improvisation. This is ginger beer cake. So first of all, we'll get some eggs. And there was light. There, see? It's only 2:30 in the morning. 2 days after I originally put this up, just like I said. Oh, and look, I've changed pyjamas. How miraculous. Now, so here are the eggs. I'm not sure what kind of chicken you need to get white eggs, but that's what I have, quite by accident. You need flour. I've got it over here. I've got it in this measuring jug. Plain flour, that is. So I've got bicarbonate of soda, baking powder, cup of dates, and butter, unsalted butter, it's specified. Oh, and some ginger beer. And I cannot for the life of me find my powdered ginger anywhere, so I shall be using cinnamon instead. So we've got cinnamon, date, and ginger beer cake. This is going to be a nightmare. Oh, and regarding the eggs, I'm following two recipes, like I said, one online and one from my grandmother's book. One of them says 3 eggs, the other says 4. I'll try and make it 3.5. This is ginger wine. Just keeping it there in case anything goes wrong, which it's going to. And the website I'm doing it from is called Women's Weekly, and the other, as I said, is an old lady's cookbook. My usual reading matter, obviously. Now, first thing you're going to want to do is grease the baking tin. I'll just move you over here so you can see what I'm doing. So here it is. Just putting this on the inside. Not sure how well you can see it, but I'm greasing the inside here with some unsalted butter, like I described. Round it goes. Just get some all over my pyjama top, it doesn't matter. And of course, if you know what you're doing, you'll leave those date things to soak for all night, but I don't know what I'm doing, so I didn't. Make them plump and soft and juicy. All of which I forgot to do for them. Next you need to take that grease-proof paper. I'll just bring you down so you can see what I'm doing. Just put that there in the centre. I've cut a circle out of it. You see I'm doing it rather clumsily with my left hand. It's a bit like wrapping a parcel, but with butter. Once the tin is greased and papered and lined, preheat your oven. Decent amount. It doesn't have to be the amount that you'd bake the cake for. Then clear your space, get those potatoes out the way, and begin. And also heat the hob, because you need to put the ginger beer on the boil too. This is Krabby's, by the way. It always becomes popular around Christmas. I love ginger so much, people give it to me in abundance. But, well, I remember once when I was in a pub, there was a woman already terribly drunk. In fact, a fellow I was with decided or suggested that she'd also had a naughty cigarette in conjunction with her alcohol, her substantial alcoholic beverages. And she said to me, "Oh, Krabby's. It doesn't give you Krabby's, does it? I promise you it does not. But if you feel bad about it, use another brand." In here. And we shove in the dates. In goes some carbonate of soda. You can see it fizzing there. Got that on low. By the way, you might notice that I've got some more ginger beer there. That's non-alcoholic. I'm something of a connoisseur. See that lovely froth? It's roughly 15 minutes now, so I'm going to leave it to stand here for a further 15 minutes. So I'm just stirring merrily away at low heat just to see if this works, which probably won't, and I'll do this for another 15 minutes or so, if I can be bothered. Now observe as I slosh it into this blender here. The ginger beer mixture there kind of made all the dates nice and plump, so I needn't have worried about soaking them overnight as I thought. The mixture is now in this blender. Watch, or rather listen, and learn. Actually, why don't you come down and look? See how it's all sort of churning away in there? Maybe not so easily. Turn up the volume a little bit. Lovely, isn't it? Take my hand away from the mixer. Yes, that was tea. I know it's not the same tea that I had when I started this recipe. And yes, I have to zoom out. Right, I think they're just about done now. To be honest, I've no idea whether you can hear me at all, it's so loud. As you can see, the end there is cracked, so I'm amazed it didn't spray all over the place like it usually does. Well, beginner's luck when I'm on camera. Just putting in the unsalted butter, and look, by some miracle, 250 grams is exactly the amount I needed. In goes the lovely brown sugar that we're measuring out. Just going to put that in with the butter. That was 350 grams. Well, it's meant to be 350 grams, probably more like 400, but never mind. In it goes with the butter. And when I'm done, when it's all in, I'm going to mix it around with a wooden spoon. You can't see, but that's what I'm doing. By the way, it's only approaching 4 in the morning now. Then we turn our blender into a mixer and... I always think of dentists for some reason when I do this, maybe because of their drills. By the way, I've often thought maybe one of the reasons that people feel so vulnerable around dentists is because they're completely at the dentist's mercy. Remember once going to a dentist the same day that I went to the barber's, and the barber used a straight razor, you know, a cutthroat razor, one of those things. And the only meaningful difference between the sensation is that one, the barber moved the chair back manually, whereas of course the dentist usually moves his back electronically. And secondly, that during the shave my mouth was closed. But honestly, it could make one easily see where legends like Sweeney Todd came from. Of course, in some areas of barber surgeons used to double up as dentists, didn't they, and pull teeth. It's one of the reasons, one of the speculated reasons, why they have red and white bars on the outside, a sign of the bones in the blood, allegedly. It's what I learnt in History of Medicine many moons ago. So now the mixture is rendered into this sort of puffy slush. I'm going to put the eggs in, I think. Eggs it is. So 1, 2, 3, and I have to use half of this. Oh, made all the easier by the fact that it's double yolked. How wonderful. Just move you back a bit. I don't want you falling in the mixture, however delicious it is. And if it's terrible, I want you falling in even less. I'm kind like that. Right, so now I put bicarbonate of soda in. We now have to try a little bit of baking powder. Just a teaspoon, or a little bit more. Hold very still. Don't move. Okay, in it goes. Just mix that in. Little by little, I'm going to add some flour. I'll skip this bit for your convenience. Teaspoon of vanilla essence. And here I have a cup of milk. I forgot to mention that. This is goat's milk, by the way. No idea if it works, but we'll see. Or rather, I will. I'll warn you later if it tastes horrible. Now I'm going to put in my date and ginger beer mixture. In goes a teensy little bit of cinnamon. And usually on cooking programs they'll tell you that you should have something that looks like this. I can only tell you that I have something that looks like this. Then in it goes to the cake tin. Right, I've bung that thing in the oven and I'll come back an hour later. It's an hour later. I'm just going to put this on top to stop it from going black at the top. It'll stay in there for a further 20-25 minutes. Right, now while that's cooking, we'll make the cream covering. We'll need some sugar. This is white sugar that I've got here. We'll need some mixed spice, not allspice, very different there. And we'll need some cream cheese. I've only got this one that apparently came from a Pennsylvanian cow, but really, who cares? It requires more than what I've got, but we'll have to make do. Okay, I'm dividing my attention. Men were not made for multitasking. Usually. Now, I've just got my mixing bowl. I've cleaned it in my absence. Don't tell my mother, she'll be very shocked. And I'm going to mix the cream covering all together. Brace yourselves. So we put the cream cheese in and get it all over the camera. I've got just over half a cup of sugar here rather than a full cup. A little under half actually, because as I said, I've got a little less cream cheese than I require for the frosting, or would normally require. So I'm going to put that in, but I am going to put in the stated amount of mixed spice, or at least I will when I get the sealed top off. That's 3 teaspoons then. Oh, what lovely vanilla that was. Did I mention that I put vanilla in to the main bit? Okay, I'm just sprinkling it out. You can't really see me, and I can't really show you, but trust me, I'm putting in 3 teaspoons. Or I will do. This is painstakingly slow. Very worried that you're going to fall into this mixture like you almost did with the last, so I'm going to keep an eye on you there, and you're going to keep an eye on me from here. Does that sound fair? I think it does. So, 1, 2, 3, and... Right, that's what it's supposed to look like. You might be able to hear the oven going off there. I say it's what it's supposed to look like, I don't actually know, but it looks okay. This is what it looks like on emerging from the oven. Or at least it's what mine looks like on emerging from the oven. Well, I say that, all cakes look like this on emerging from an oven. It's what it looks like once you take the cover off that really matters. I'm amazed that even happened. You can't see that very well, but that's me putting it into a plate. I'm going to leave it to stand for a little bit, then I'm going to turn it over and cover it with the cream icing. And I'll let you watch. What little is peeling away from the greaseproof paper is really tasty. Or at least it's edible. Whether or not it'll kill me tomorrow is another matter. But if it does, may as well die happy. I don't think I'm going to, by the way. At least I hope I don't, because if I do, well, trouble with dying, of course, is you can't tell anyone else that you've died, and well, if that does happen, I'm afraid I will kill anyone who tries to duplicate this recipe. This is probably largely for entertainment purposes, at least it is for me. So you may or may not want to duplicate what I'm doing. I'm going to leave that to stand, like I said before. And hopefully, by the next time I do a recipe, I'm going to look less hideous. By the way, I wanted to give you a clearer view of what the mixture looks like. And this is what it looks like once iced. Not terribly good, not a best job, but as well as could be expected for a first timer. And certainly good considering that had I gone with the actual directions and used the quantity of cream cheese suggested, it would be all over the place. Take this, take the cake, put it on top, and cover the thing over. Like this, you see. And tomorrow, or rather later today, because, well, it's late, or rather early. I mean, look at that outside. What time is it now? 5:36. Oh well. Up all night. Up early morning. I'll place my verdict as to what it tastes like a little later, and you'll get to see better than you can see now because that's in complete darkness. I'll come back into the light. I shouldn't have drunk that tea. In any event, I'm glad that I didn't need that ginger wine to get sloshed, because it worked. That's the first part of the adventure. Now the next thing is to see whether, or to what extent, it actually works as a dish. To taste, I mean. Place it on the table. I'll film myself eating one slice, perhaps, when I'm more hungry. Just see me cutting this cake here. See what the verdict is. Now, is it edible, I wonder? I'm having this as dessert for the pork dish that I made after this video was put together. So, it's been standing for a while. Let's see. What is ginger beer cake actually like? You definitely taste that cinnamon. You definitely taste those dates. What you can't really taste is the ginger beer. But no matter, it's still very nice. It's a very nice cake, I definitely recommend it. It's just, if you like ginger, add ginger. None of the recipes I was following came with it, which surprised me actually. I thought, at first I panicked when I saw that I had no ginger in the house. I thought I'd bought some. I thought I had some root ginger. I would have liked to put that in, but it was not to be. Anyway, I think that went rather well. Now I just have to go through the difficult process of editing this thing. And I'm so far away from this camera, I've no idea whether you're being able to hear a word of what I'm saying. Not to worry. By the way, you may have noticed how I'm completely shaven now. It's because so much time has passed. It'll probably be another few months' time before this thing gets put online, but by which time this pandemic may be over. But no matter, it's good for its time. Grab your coat, grab your kids, grab your cauliflower, and observe. Or, if it turns out to be a disaster, don't observe, just laugh at me. Can't I unwrap this thing faster? Just what? This is part of this is going to go in tomorrow's recipe, or the day after's recipe. Actually, what I'm going to do today might go in tomorrow, or next week, or never, because it gets done very slowly. I had about an hour and a half's worth of sleep last night, as if you couldn't tell. Need extra stress chocolate. Full leaded tea. Right, greaseproof paper next. Who would have thought about doing this at 3 in the morning? And we give it a stir. And we put in the dates. Hear that lovely churning. Yep, so take my hand off. Then we turn our blender into a mixer and just put those scissors in there so I don't cut myself and lose something important. Now, that is the cream mixing stuff, icing thing, I hope. It's so difficult doing this with my left hand. Well, that's got a sweet taste as well. Right, where are those beaters that I had? Oh, I'll need to wash those too now. Why did I miss those out? How foolish. Spatula, I think. Spatula still covered in gravy. Okay,